What's going on, everyone? Chris from Pickdawgz.com here with your free pick in the Tennessee versus South Carolina college basketball matchup going down Saturday, March 8th, 2025. Just a reminder, if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed to our channel and smash that thumbs up. And if you're looking for my best bets, the games that I love, head to Pickdawgz.com. Click the Premium Picks tab at the top of the page. It's a great time to do so because we have a lot of action lined up this week. It's the last big college hoops Saturday of the regular season. Even the big conferences are in conference. They're running down the rest of the regular season. The smaller conferences are in conference tournament time. We've still got NBA and NHL on the board as well. So make sure that you jump on board. Remember to use the promo code PICK at checkout for 15% off your purchase. We've also got products for those who make big bets and for those with big bankrolls, those looking for more of a VIP experience where you're going to get things like late alert plays closer to game time. We're going to track line movement for you. Try to get you the best possible number compared to the closing line. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, text the number on the screen for more information, even if it's just to find out if it's right for you. But let's get to this one. Between Tennessee and South Carolina, it's an interesting SEC matchup here as you've got the Tennessee Volunteers coming into this game with a record of 24-6 on the year, 15-14-1 against the number this season, after ending up with a 78-76 road loss to Ole Miss in their last matchup, while South Carolina comes in off a 73-64 loss at home to Georgia in their last game to slip to 12-18 on the year, 13-16-1 against the number this season. And, the thing about South Carolina is that we can all agree this is just a big drop-off from the team that made the NCAA tournament last year under Lamont Paris, who took the Gamecocks to the tournament in year two of his tenure. And, there was hope that the Gamecocks were going to be able to carry this forward, and it just didn't happen. We've seen it happen with a couple of programs before. For me, excuse me, the first one that comes to mind just off the top of my head is Oregon State a couple years ago. They made that magical run to I think it was the Elite Eight, and they came back the following year and won 3 games, and it was just poor. I mean, South Carolina going to finish in the basement of the SEC right now, sitting at 2-15 in conference play. Just has not been able to come together. Now, the thing about South Carolina, though, is that the majority of their success has actually been when they've been at home. They have a winning record at home this season, 10-8 straight up, and it's where they've been a lot more competitive. We talk about South Carolina's performances at home earlier this year. This was a South Carolina team that on their home floor, almost beat Auburn. They lost by 3, catching 16.5 points. They were leading Florida the entire game before the Gators took the lead for good on the final possession and lost that game 70-69. They lost to Texas A&M by 4. Lost to Ole Miss by 4. So South Carolina's been a lot more competitive at home. Problem is that right now in this game they're on the road, and that is where they have been absolutely demolished. If you look at their last 6 road games, going back to the game against Oklahoma on January 18th, these are the margins of margins of defeat for South Carolina in those games: 20, 11, 23, 21, 14, and 30. And a lot of those teams are, below the level of Tennessee. And that, even though Tennessee, I think, is still a team that has some work to do. And if you go back even before the Vanderbilt game, which was sort of the one outlier just before the Oklahoma game, they lost to Mississippi State on the road by 35. But I still think Tennessee is sort of in the upper tier of all those teams I just mentioned. Teams that I could consider better than Tennessee: Florida, maybe Kentucky, maybe Missouri, but I think they're kind of right there next to each other. I think Tennessee at home is still a tough out. And even though the Vols, when you look at their, home numbers as of late, haven't necessarily been blowing teams away, and they did only beat South Carolina, they haven't played South Carolina this season, but, they did only beat likes of Vanderbilt by 5 at home, beat Missouri by 4, beat Alabama by 3. Those are still great wins, and that's why I'm thinking that they are just a step ahead of South Carolina, or maybe even 2 steps ahead of South Carolina in this game. Now, when you look at the SEC standings, you could sit there and go, well, what does Tennessee really have to gain from blowing, South Carolina out of the water? Well, a win here locks up a top 4 spot for Tennessee in the conference tournament, which would get them a double bye into the quarterfinals. I think that's motivation enough as it is, but I think we just see Tennessee wallop on South Carolina, just as a lot of teams already have in conference play with the Gamecocks on the road. So give me Tennessee here laying the big number, and that's going to be my free pick. But just a reminder, if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed to our channel and smash that thumbs up. And if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pickdawgz Premium. Why you're Pickdawgz? Check out our betting tools. They're 100% free. They're the best betting tools in the business and tools that you want to make sure that you have in your back pocket when you're making your best bets for the day's action. Thanks for watching. See you guys.